basically, the ball and socket is the basis of the system.
Right.
But what it gives us is a lot of flexibility in how we attach things to our existing hardware that we have all in our inventory. It's cost us money, let's make as much money as we can, let's use it as much as possible in as many different ways as possible. So we have a lot of different attachments here. We've got what we call a sidearm that's coming out this summer at Infocom 2012. And
Infocom 2012, be there, Versatop.
At the Radius Display Products booth, we'll have a full line of all the different parts that people can touch and feel and try it out for themselves. Right. Basically, we've got a what we call a bullet on the end of this sidearm, and that bullet is exactly the same shape as the socket.
Okay.
So we can put this attachment on just like that. And now we have another crown extended 3 inches out from our first crown.
Okay.
And what this gives us the ability to do is put a second row of drape.
Right.
Okay. With the drape behind it. It also gives us the ability to put another one on the back side and have 3 rows of drape.
So you're introducing some depth into one single pipe.
Yes. So to create doorways, to put signage up, banners, that kind of thing, this is invaluable. This gives you so much flexibility. And we'll see that later on today when we hang banners and signage up. We also have some other pieces that are really geared for flexibility. The other one is called a shoulder mount. And it looks like a half of this.
Right.
So it's just missing the crown. And basically what this gives us is it gives us 3 attachment points. And these just use a standard flange nut, quarter 20, that any hardware store will have a quarter 20 attachment. And you can just bolt that on. And now you have up to 2 pounds of attachment per connection.
Right.
And so any kind of a light duty attachment that you want to have, say it's a swag piece that you're hanging down for decorative purposes in front of a black drape, you might have a white drape swag that's hanging down. Well, this again just fits right in and you have a place to connect it.
Right.
You see the eyelet on here, this acts as a great tether. So for instance, if you have a secondary line of drape, a dual drape line for instance, maybe one valance, one solid drape line,
right,
and it's 20 feet in the air.
It's going to tilt. It's going to tilt
forward.
Yeah,
there's enough slop in the pipe itself that it wants to tilt forward towards the weight.
Right, and it doesn't matter what your base plate or sandbagging is. That's going to happen because that's just physics at the top.
Yeah, we all know what happens.
Right.
Well, this gives us a place to hold a tether at the top. Now we're putting leverage now at the top, so we can put a tether all the way down to a sandbag on the floor, and we get 10 times the leverage from the top.
Right.
It's that simple. So there's a lot of flexibility here. Small little LED instruments can attach to these parts. Anything that you want to do. I mean, we can't even think of all the things that are going to be taking place in the future with these. We just try to put as many attachment points as possible on each one. These come in all different sizes. We started out with the most common, which is what we have here, the 2-stage pipe.
Right.
But now we've got a size for the 3-stage.
So that's for like display booth, banjo cloth.
Well, this one is actually for the next stage up from here. So they come in a 3-stage, what they call a 3-stage, where they have the outer pole, an inner sleeve here, and then another inner sleeve here, where this crown would fit that.
Okay.
For the banjo cloth, we've got a smaller one, and it's a 1.5-inch pipe they typically use for that. And that's usually used in exhibit floors and stuff like that. You've seen it all the time.
Right.
And it's just a light duty pipe that's 1.5 inches around, this pounds in the top. And with that, we have what's coming out as a light duty ball cap.
Right.
It's all plastic instead of the heavy duty steel that you might see in production.
What you need on velour and.
Oh yeah, when you're dealing with production events, then you want to use the heavy duty. If you're dealing with light duty applications like the banjo cloth, you can use these, and it's a great cost saver. Another great thing that we have on all of these parts, even the crown, is a threaded insert right down the middle. And what that is basically a brass insert. It's a 1/4 20 threaded, and it allows us to attach things directly to the top of all of our crowns and all of our attachments. And what that does is it gives us some flexibility. For instance, this little part right here is what we call a light post, and it'll hold a lightweight LED lamp, 5 pounds, up to 5 pounds maximum.
Good for a hairline, for video.
Yeah, we've used it a lot for that application where we just need something in the back of somebody, but we don't have a truss to hang it from.
Right.
So we can just put it right on the existing drape line. So we can attach that LED instrument right to the top of this pole.
Right.
This doesn't interfere with the connection. So you can still have your drape going right across. You don't need an extra piece of hardware to do it.
You know, one thing I'm seeing, Vince, is look at how flush that is. Can you see this? That this is totally flush, so there's no longer that cap hump that you need in normal pipe and drape when you're trying to make it flush and nice and you gotta tape it to the top or try and get the cap over. Now it's straight over.
Yeah, that was one of the big issues that we wanted to overcome, is the capping, because the capping, you tear your drape when you're pulling it over,
right,
and it takes more time to do it. And it doesn't look as nice.
Yeah, it's
frankly,
ugly.
it just doesn't look as nice. So we decided when we designed this that we've got to overcome that, and that's how we came up with the design of where this crown fits and how it works. In fact, a lot of times it's self-capping. So when you put the drape line on and you pull it over, it just lines right up with the pole. So you're covering the pole automatically without
right,
doing a lot of extra work.
Which is good.
Yeah, it saves a lot of time. The next thing that we have really is these little ball caps here that have threaded pieces on the end.
All right.
And what these do is they allow you to integrate other pieces like signage, lightweight signage, small screens, things of that nature into the system that we have.
Okay.
So you could frame up a sign or a piece of art with a couple of these ball caps and then just drop that frame in between two poles.
Okay.
Or better yet,
Let's turn this so they can see that a little.
Yeah. You could have that, a drape line, let's say here,
right,
between the two,
right,
and then your artwork floating in front of the drape line.
Okay.
So basically these 5/16 threaded ball caps that you can attach to just about anything as long as you put the insert into the
5/16, that's screens too, yeah?
Yeah, that's standard screens. So Daylight, Draper, Screenworks, a lot of them use the 5/16 threaded.
Okay, so you could take a threaded piece. Now I think you're going to show me this later. You can take a threaded piece and actually hang your screen from
right
your
from
uprights.
the drape line. Yeah.
So no more legs, no more sandbagging the legs,
Yeah.
no more, you know.
Yeah, when you're in a tight situation like we are today,
Right.
There's not a lot of room for legs, and you got one place to put it. And a lot of people hang screens from the drape line anyway, but they have a real difficult time doing it.
So we are going to come back. We're going to talk to Vince about some more of the applications that Versatop has. There are some things I can't even guess at, but also I want to see that screen go up, don't you? All right, Vince, we're going to be back.
Great.